Hey guys, it's Matt. Spent the morning looking over the comment section of yesterday's video. Oh boy, years of Saturday Night Live material could come out of the comment section of yesterday's video, and they need it. I hear that show's been so bad for 25 years. They need all the help they can get. There's some 50th anniversary coming up, or I haven't watched in almost 30 years. It got that bad. You want to talk about comedy sketches? Let me tell you about some of the comments from yesterday's video on Napoleon. But before that, I was looking at Bill's recent poster that he sent me that says, in his final act as president, Crazy Uncle Joe ordered his candy mascot army to arrest all conservatives. And I was thinking, out of his 4 years in the Oval Office, how much time do you think he was actually lucid? Meaning, this isn't a joke. He might have looked up to advisors several times and said, send the candy mascot army in there. How much, this is not a joke, how much time do you think he was actually lucid and all together? Not that he made any decisions. The Biden presidency, I was going to say the Biden presidency in and of itself proves that there is no such thing as the presidency. It's just a figurehead. It walks around. It's handed 3x5 cars. It's told what to say. I mean, Obama showed us that. But Joe, I mean, if there was any doubt whatsoever, Joe proved it. I'm not joking. He may have said things like, "Oh, there's an uprising in Sudan and there's ethnic cleansing. Send in my candy mascot army." Anyway, I don't think he was lucid for about 90% of the presidency. And if he was, it wouldn't matter anyway because they don't make any decisions. So what's the difference? Just sitting here quietly for a minute thinking about all the things Joe may have spouted out when he wasn't lucid to his advisors. For example, his advisor may have come in and said, Mr. President, I need to speak to you right away. The war between Ukraine and Russia has taken a turn for the worst, something that was completely unexpected, sir. Russia's applying pressure and tactics that we didn't anticipate. And Joe may have looked up at him and said, get that auto parts king on the phone right away. What, sir? Get who? Get the auto parts king, the king. Zelensky. What? He's blended the movie Tommy Boy with real life, but it's not real life, it's a script. But just go with it. And get Tsar Nicholas on the red phone right away. I need to speak to him. Those Russians need to back off. Tsar Nicholas? It's Putin, sir. He may have done stuff like that the entire presidency. My mood has completely changed because I only have a few days left before the Super Bowl. Oh, can I say it? Oh, this pisses me off to no end. I'm going to get my good mood back, but I have to say this now. I'll never be able to get this out. It bothers me to no end, and it gets worse every year. Everybody says in advertisements and all over the place, and even signs in like cheesesteak shops, oh, get ready for the big game and order your cheesesteaks today. Big game. They can't say Super Bowl. Oh, it's so protected. Again, NFL, what a bunch of villains. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Oh, you're going to come sue me? Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Super Bowl 2019. Oh, this is from 2019, but it's getting worse every year. They cannot say, brands and advertisements, they cannot say the Super Bowl unless they pay for the privilege. Fuck you. So I'm sorry if there's any kids. Give me a break. Pay for the privilege. Shove it up your ass. Here, it makes no sense. This is another control device in a not milk reality. In a world where things kind of made sense most of the time, can you imagine that? They would want everybody talking about the Super Bowl because it gives them more attention. If more people say Super Bowl, the bigger the game gets. Now, when you say big game and people say that in their local advertisements or whatever, people know what you're talking about. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's an event. You cannot, per the First Amendment, if that were real and the Supreme Court wasn't just 9 puppets, I'm sure anything were real, this would be thrown out in a second. You can't tell people in the course of whatever that they shouldn't buy sandwiches to get ready for the Super. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. There's no way that would ever hold up under the First Amendment if anything were real. Is anybody trying to tell me that there's no such thing as the bill? Yeah, I know. That's what's so frustrating about the comments that we're going to get to for yesterday's video on Napoleon. But come on. The big, and even the news now says it. Like the news should have the greatest protection if it were real. Action News and Rick whatever it from 5:30 to 6:30 or whatever it is on Channel 6 in Philadelphia. They'll say it because they know that as the news they can say it, but they'll still refer to it a lot of times as big game. We don't want to say it too much. We don't want to try. You know what? Everybody should just collude. Everybody should say, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. 100,000 small businesses just say, we're just going to say Super Bowl. Your team of lawyers is going to get to everybody, going to sue everybody. Bring it on. We're all going to just say Super Bowl. Enough of this horse shit. This is a not milk little control reminder. It sprinkles throughout society. Not milk, you are a real son of a bitch. I forgot to check on Dubuque. And I saw this. Something else I have to mention just a few more minutes before we start making fun of some of the comments from the Napoleon video. The scope of Trump and Musk's power play is staggering. It's just every time I see something like this, it's just one more thing where it's so inexplicable how people around us can't see that Elon Musk isn't running any of these companies. Have I done this? I do it every 6 months. We'll do it again. I'll keep it to 60 seconds or less. Let's go over all the companies he's supposed to be CEO of. I don't have any time to do anything in my day. I just have 2 cats. I don't have any time. I heard you guys have the same complaints. The day just goes by. We don't get anything done. Time has changed in a sense. We don't have any time, but he's running Tesla, the #1 electric car company in the world. He's replacing NASA, the Boring Company, which makes a whole host of different products, including a flamethrower. He has a solar battery, solar cell, or solar city, puts the solar panels on the roof. Oh yeah, Twitter. That's right. I forgot about that little side thing called Twitter or X. And now he's helping Trump reconfigure the government. Of course, he's not really. If anybody's new, I get these comments. I can see through it. Yeah, I know. But sometimes I just have to say things in a certain way. Somebody in a comment yesterday said, "Matt, I can't believe you think that whole Napoleon thing is real." What? Been yelling fake reality at the metaphysical level for years, but I think the Napoleon story is exactly real. Sometimes I have to talk about something in a certain way in order to make a certain point. I can't just say, hello, it's Wednesday. This is Matt McKinley, Quantum of Conscious, and the word for the day is the world isn't real. I'll see you tomorrow. It doesn't work. Sometimes I have to talk about things in a certain way so we can discuss them, so we can see the reality breakdown coming. So for years, I'm just saying, fake world, this can't happen in a real world. Has anybody ever heard me say those sorts of things? In the comment yesterday, I can't believe, Matt, that you believe the Napoleon story is real. There wouldn't have been a video if I have to talk about certain things as if they're real, like the movement of horses and men, the movement of cannons, logistics. Without that, I just say the world's not real. I'll see you tomorrow. It doesn't work. At least we can get a few laughs this way, even if you're laughing at me. There's no way that Elon Musk, if there's any normal person in the world or a normie you can send this out to, so he has time to do all these globally leading companies. And now he's also, in his spare time, reconfiguring the government. All right, let's start where most of you would want me to start. You degenerates that only care about the part where she spread her you-know-what and made a little comment to Napoleon about what he could see, but fortunately we on camera could not see. Josephine de Napoleon in the movie Napoleon with that little sawed-off Joaquin Phoenix. If you look, now she's spreading it out. We can't see it. He can see it. She's wearing a dress. He can see it. If you look down, you'll see a surprise. Get ready for a surprise. That's from what? Running Man. Once you see it, you will always want it. So the winner is, from all the good commenters, the winner is hermaphroditic. There would have to have been both. It's not just Danny said it's a banana. Others said it's a banana. No, it can't just be a banana, no matter how large, no matter how impressive. You say to one guy to another, even, those people that choose that lifestyle, once you see one guy just flashing another in that type of bar or club, once you see it, you will always want it. And the other guy would say, I got one of those myself. What do you mean I'll always want it? Yours is better than mine, but I'm not going to always want it. I got one myself. I've driven that. I know what it is. They're not. It must have been both. No, we have proof. If you proof, because her balls were as big as her Adam's apple. No, she gets on in several scenes. I don't want to be too graphic, and hopefully you sent the kids away a long time ago. Kids and teenagers really shouldn't be here. Go enjoy the illusion. I was going to say taste the rainbow, but don't do that. Go enjoy the illusion of this world. It's good to be fooled for a while. Don't be bogged down in this heavy stuff that we're talking about. Higher self. And I think kids, just go enjoy yourself. Come back here when you're 25 or 30 or something like that. So there's several scenes where she's on top. All right, that's never happened to me, but I hear it can be done. She's on top, like a carnival ride. The Ferris wheel goes around and goes up and down, and get the brass ring up and. Well, that can't happen if it's just a banana, Danny. I don't think so. I haven't really thought it through. That's not really my thing. But up and down, it must have the people that put hermaphro, they might be right. That might be what it is. Okay, that because then she can have I guess, I don't know. I'm not overly familiar with that either. She can have normal sex if she wants to go like carousel ride with the horsies up and down. But then there's get ready for a surprise if you want to. It's some real sick shit. I mean, if it's just the coochie coo, the vajayjay, if it's just vajayjay, how great could it be? Let's play Matt, this whole channel's breaking down. Every once in a while Matt, aren't you going to have some hardcore reality conversation today? No. Can't do that every day. My reality is a couple sentences. Can't say that every day. Sorry. So let's just say it's a regular vajayjay. So if you look down, just a regular, if you look down, you'll see a surprise. Once you see it, you will always want it. And if it was just a regular, Napoleon may have said, well, I've seen some ugly ones and it's attractive, but I'm not going to say I'm always going to want it. I mean, it looks nice. And I appreciate what you've done with the cropping of the hair, but you will always want, it has to be the hermaphrodite. It has to be that. And if you put that in your comment, you win a prize. Oh, Napoleon, thank you for courting me. It's our first time together. And Napoleon says, what's poking me in the rear? What's poking me from behind? Remember, and Josephine said, remember when I said to you at dinner the other night, get ready for a surprise. That's it. That's what's poking you in the rear. And once you see it, in this case, once you feel it, you will always want it. I'll show you a variety of different movie posters as we talk about some of the ridiculous comments from yesterday. This is the famous movie poster called Napoleon the Man-Spreader. Napoleon the Man-Spreading. If you know what that is, that's what he did back to Josephine. And Josephine said, not very impressive. Sorry. Several comments said something about, well, Matt, they just drink from the rivers. What? Real? I never thought of that. But one was very short. It says, Matt, it's very simple. They drink from the rivers and streams. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I commented underneath. Oh, I didn't never realized that. I'll just take the whole video down. I apologize for making the video. Invading multiple thousands of miles in different directions. Just drink from the rivers. Okay. I don't know. In fact, if yesterday's video is still up, I apologize. So let's look at the first series of comments that said armies of 100,000 or more can move thousands of miles in all different directions because they drink from the rivers. Let's play that out. Now, a little proviso in fine print. I'm no military tactician. I didn't go to no West Point. I didn't even go over here, Valley Forge Military Academy, where they filmed taps. I wasn't over there with Timothy Hutton and Tom Cruise. And who was that other son of a bitch? Sean Penn? Although it's right over here. I know the exact scene where they remember they took their machine gun out. They were getting the supplies. That's Wayne, PA. I couldn't walk over there, but it's very close. But I didn't go there. Yet I could apply some common sense where I don't have to be a military tactician. Well, what do you mean, Matt? Out with it, Junior! I could go to, what was it, Tsar Alexander at the time? I don't know. All I know was Tsar Nicholas. I think it's Tsar Alexander. Me and my friend Greg, on the fastest horses money could buy, could go to Tsar Nicholas at the time. And I would say, Tsar Nicholas, me and this southern South Carolina son of a bitch here, we can stop the entire Napoleon army. Just give us 40 of your best men. So let me get this straight. Where are you from, boy? Davenport? Have you ever heard of it? No. Me and this southern son of a bitch, hillbilly here, With 40 of your best men, we can stop the entire Napoleon invasion. Well, how? Well, you see, we know generally the way the army's moving, and we know the rivers that he will be coming across. I don't know, not the Rhine or the Rhone. They're the only two rivers I know in Europe, so it's just every time it's going to be the Rhine or the Rhone. I can't tell them a different. I know the Tiber. Well, yeah, I know the Tiber. What's that other one? The Thames or the Thames or Thames or something like that. That's all I know. What we're going to do is, Tsar Alexander, did you see Cold Mountain? Where he says this damn dead cattle is poisoning my waters. We're gonna just get a bunch of cattle and goats and shit. We're gonna go up the river. See, they all drink from it. That just explains everything. We're just gonna take a bunch of dead animals. We need actually 20 of your best goat herders as well. We're gonna put 50 dead animals in the river, just about 10 miles upstream. And see, they just get down like cheetahs and then along the Nile, and they drink from it, trying to avoid the Nile crocodiles. And then when they drink it, see, they're all going to be dysenteried and poisoned out. Me, Greg, and just a few of your best men and goat herders, we're going to put a bunch of dead animals upriver, and they all going to be so sick, they're going to crawl all the way back to Gay Paris on their hands and knees. You can do that? Yeah, I can do that. How much you want? I don't know what you got. That's all you would need to do. You know what rivers they're going to come across? Just poison the rivers. Put your dead animals in the river. What do you think about that? Just kind of came up with it. You just came up with that, Matt. Meh, you just came up. That ain't nothing but what Moses did. Well, yeah, I ain't got no staff, do I, from God? I got to put dead animals in the river to do that. And hopefully the blood won't be so much it'll just look like normal water, but it'll be all bacteria infested. I ain't got no staff. I can't just put it down and hand it to where's that Aaron? Get over here, Aaron. Take my staff. I can't do that. I have to, Tsar Nicholas or Alexander, I need to put a bunch of dead animals in the river. But yes, I kind of did steal it from Moses. Check this out, guys. Here's a little mini lesson in not milk reality, which always leads to the same conclusion: fake world. After doing this for 15 years, I just think a little bit differently. I've seen the Apple placement in Forrest Gump, which led just weeks later to Apple's turnaround in the stock price. And the Not Milk does strange things like this. So I'm always thinking a little bit different way. And I thought Napoleon, we're talking about Napoleon and Bueller and Napoleon Dynamite. So I'm just thinking about that. Go over here. And then I went dynamite. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to look it up. When was dynamite invented? Just a few years before Napoleon's major conquests. I just thought there could be a correlation. So, Matt, let me get this straight. Thousands of people listen to your take on how this reality works, but you're going over here looking for some sort of a relationship between the movie Napoleon Dynamite and Napoleon Bonaparte and what the Library of Congress tells us is real history. You're looking for some sort of linkage? Well, yeah, of course. That's how the Not Milk does business. Go watch Forrest Gump and the whole Apple placement. That's just one of thousands of examples that we have. That's exactly how this reality, this sick, twisted son of a bitch does business. No, I'm not blogging from a white padded room. I still live on my own. So what'd you find? Researchers like Jeff would say 100%, I'm going to find something, at least something extremely strange. That's how this reality does business. It's a conspiracy generation machine. Here's what I found. Typed it in. When was dynamite invented? Looking for a correlation. Maybe it was a long shot. Alfred Nobel invented dynamite in 1867. Wait a second. That's not the same Alfred Nobel of the Nobel Prize Exactamundo. Alfred Nobel, look at the Not Milk's mocking in this, created the Nobel Prize using the fortune he had built in the explosives business. So let me get this straight. The main prize is the Peace Prize. They have the prize for math and science and Nobel Prizes for the best way to take out garbage. But the main one is the Peace Prize. That's what Obama got. That's what everybody wants. The main prize is the Nobel Peace Prize. And the award was founded based on his fortune building explosives that killed tens of millions of people. Oh, I get it. Thanks, Not Milk. Thanks for your mockery. Thanks for exposing fake world. We really do appreciate it. Matt, stop crying that all the time. Fake world. The same old mantra from you over and over. Fake world. Everybody knows. It's just the secret society's mocking, Matt. We've seen it before. It's just another case of the secret society's mocking. And this is Matt again. Yeah, I know. I feel very embarrassed. I'm going to take yesterday's video down and apologize. Yeah, so they've pulled this one off, this mockery, and then they've pulled the last 400,000 things off to perfection. Yeah, you're right. It's the secret society. They have meetings and they stay in and they order Domino's pizza and Subway sandwiches. I'm sorry. So, in conclusion, if you know not milk the way I know not milk, it's worth getting back into the weeds and the bog and spending the rest of your natural life looking for a relationship or correlation between Napoleon Dynamite, the movie, and the real/fake history, even if it's real, it's fake, of Napoleon and what the Library of Congress presents. For example, Napoleon maybe used dynamite to conquer all those countries. Or maybe dynamite was used against Napoleon at Waterloo, and then that was scrubbed from history by the secret societies that can pull everything off. And per this picture, what are you going to do today, Napoleon? I'm going to invade Russia. God! If I show your comment, don't be alarmed. I'm not going to show your name. And you might, whoever these comments are coming from, I'll show a few, you might be right. As long as eventually we get to a place where I say, hey, brother, fake world, and you say, yeah, fake world. If we can get there, then it doesn't matter. Then we're brothers. We're going to be one. If you think it's all real, then I'm going to have a little bit of an issue with what you present. But don't take this the wrong way. The way reality is, this could be real, but it still can be made fun of. It's still funny as shit, even if you're right about this. So that comment that I just showed read like this. Apparently, there was a big industry that developed intending and supplying traveling armies. There would be huge amounts of people who would travel with them: blacksmiths, leather tanners, butchers, bakers, medics, scribes, prostitutes, etc. It was good money to serve an army. Butchers would have shepherds who traveled ahead to certain stops with herds of animals and other supplies. Also, there was a constant caravan of servants and private service providers going back and forth behind the army to deliver mail and keep supplies going. Also, the same would be traveling ahead as scouts, mailmen, etc. That's what I learned in school. Uh-oh, did you say learned in school? Right there, by itself, that means it can't possibly be real. But let's just have fun with it. So in this, the way your professors presented, it was basically like the last scene in Rocky II, where the kids just started pouring out. Apparently, it was very profitable to go along with, did they post flyers up on telephone poles? We are going north to Russia. We're going to invade the Russians. Who wants to come with? We need blacksmiths. We need whores. We need people that can sew. Come with us. They put all over the telephone poles. And then the Russians never got wind of this. There's no reason to keep anything secret when you're planning an invasion. And then the army started marching. Matt, you didn't even need to do that. The army started marching. It was so massive. Just like these kids poured from their home in South Philly to follow Rocky up the art museum steps. The blacksmith said, I'm in the middle of shoeing a horse. Fuck it. I'm not going to finish this horse. I'm going to I'm going to walk behind the army. I'm going to get paid better. They just went out of their home. They had little kids, a little baby in the nursery. Fuck it. They just went with the army to serve it, and they knew exactly how to serve it. They didn't need training. They didn't know who to report to. They didn't know the chain of command. They just followed along, and it all worked out perfectly. Amazing how they did it. Yeah, I guess the real problem with that one is that was learned in school. That's never going to be the answer, my friend. If all the support personnel would come pouring out of the homes and the towns as soon as they found out the army was marching, I don't think Napoleon would have even needed an army. Just like in Conan the Destroyer Part 2, Napoleon and like 5 guys just set out. It would be similar to Conan Part 2 and similar to the end of Rocky 2, where Zula came up and he says, if Conan will let me ride with Conan, I will die for Conan. He just walked the streets and people just fell in as soldiers. If you let me go to Moscow with you, Napoleon, then I will die for you. He didn't need no army from the start. He just picked them up along the way like the end of Rocky 2. Yeah, I didn't even mention this. Shame on me. They also had some light gear called cannons, which use cannonballs and gunpowder. Like one cannonball is like 80 pounds, just one ball. I guess that shit was easy to move back then. I don't know how I didn't mention this. Absolutely. There's a famous story during the Revolutionary War where was it General Knox went to go get like 2 or 3 cannons. And I don't know, they went 100 miles and their whole story, they slogged these 3 or 4 important cannons back. Do you know what I'm talking about? Back through the mud, and 4 cannons? What was Napoleon moving? And they didn't got no asphalt roads. They didn't got no 5-lane highways. They didn't got no easy pass. Once the mud comes, they ain't got no World War II tanks that go over some sort of tread. It just stops. How do you even move 1 cannon? Oh boy. Shame on you, Matt, for not even mentioning this yesterday. Here's another great point. It was so easy for Napoleon that he picked up souvenirs along the way, like massive granite obelisks, referring to the Luxor obelisks, I think 2, that were brought back to France by Napoleon. 400,000 pounds each. I just looked it up. Over 400,000 pounds each. So moving the army, the cannons, and that's easy. Are there any 400,000 pound objects that we might want to take back to Paris to improve the landscape? Maybe someday get in the Louvre? Well, these obelisks over here, Napoleon, about 400,000 pounds each. Excellent. These horses ain't doing nothing. Look at it. These horses aren't even working hard. Put it on a cart. Let's go. At this time, I need to address the subset of people absolutely screaming at me. I know what you want to tell me. Matt, you're playing both sides. Which is it? You a fraud, Matt. You playing both sides. I understand the objection that's coming. You don't quite understand the purpose or the point of this channel, or you missed some videos, say, over the last few months. Well, it's all fake, and then you'll talk about the next sentence, Matt, that is if it's real. Well, I'm confused. Which is it? Like that comment that said, Matt, I'm disappointed in you or something. You believe that Napoleon's conquest was real? Here's the problem, folks. Number one, as long as at the end of the day, I say fake world, and we might have disagreements how it fakes it, how it pulls it off, but in the end of the day, if we can sit around the campfire and I say, I think it's mostly fake, this place isn't very real, and you say, I think it's mostly fake, it isn't very real, then where it's most important, we have a meeting of the minds. So what I don't like, this is what really gets me. And where this typically comes from these types of people that want to scream at me right now. They will basically say, you believe that Napoleon actually moved real armies and it's real? Those people will use then pedestrian explanations like the secret societies to explain it all away. They'll say, it's all fake. That's where I say the first grade truther just yells out in the night, fake. But here's the problem. If I say back to them, okay, you think it's all fake and no armies really moved, how was it done? They will resort to pedestrian or like real world things that they understand between the reality bookends. They have to resort to that. This is what drives me nuts. They'll say like it was all covered up by the secret societies. So let me get this straight. Hundreds of thousands of books and reference books and letters and hundreds of thousands of pieces of material or artifacts that point that there were real battles in these places, that are, whatever it be, maps, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pieces of evidence that point to the fact that there was some sort of battles or Napoleon invaded this country and invaded that. These people then resort back to, see how really, really lame this is. They'll resort back to it was covered up by they have to go between the reality bookends. But the secret societies just erased it, or no, they didn't erase it. It's just the opposite. The secret societies created millions of fake artifacts and books to show a history that never took place. See, that's ridiculous. It's impossible. Sometimes with the architecture, I'll say, because at the end of the day, my final statement is fake world. So I say sometimes things that are absolutely crazy to the truth researchers. That impossible architecture over there that couldn't potentially have been built in the time they say it was built, it's just part of reality itself. It wasn't built by anybody. I mean, I'll go into those places. If you want to go into those places, then we will meet together at the end at Fake World. If you resort back that the secret societies covered it up, and Matt, you don't know what Tavistock can do, if you resort back to that and have to squeeze it inside your reality bookends, you're missing the point. And I can't put a video out about impossible movement of armies and impossible logistics if I just sit back in the first 10 seconds and say, fake world. I have to engage with it as if it's somewhat real to point out its inconsistencies, and the endless inconsistencies and impossibilities we point out about this world leads back to fake world. Are you starting to understand where I'm coming from? Are you starting to understand? And I didn't realize this came from the first rush hour. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Okay, here's my favorite. I have to make sure we get this in because I'm not sure how many more I'm going to do. My absolute favorite is this. Hey, Matt, the Mongols drank their horse's blood and drank the milk. You know, if you just plaintively wail your whack-ass nonsense a little louder and more annoyingly, you'd convince the whole world that it's all fake, as seen from the window of your shut-in box. Wow. That hurts, my man. That hurt. I thought I had command of the English language. Let me read that again. You know, if you just plaintively wail your whack-ass nonsense a little louder. That's a good point. Was it Garrett Morris in the original Saturday Night Live? Instead of doing the signs, he would just yell it louder. I'll give my whack-ass nonsense louder. So that will be more convincing, according to this comment. My shut-in box? That's not fair. I definitely don't come to you for big thinking, more like I come to listen to some schizo ranting to remind myself how relatively normal I am. Whatever I can give you, my man. If it works, it works. If you think this is just crazy, whatever it may be, and you feel better about yourself because you listen to me and I'm just some sort of whack job, then I'm doing it for you, man. We're going to be one. Thank you for such a good comment. Keep them coming. This comment right here is my favorite for several reasons, including its simplicity. How Napoleon moved hundreds of thousands of troops over almost 20 years in multiple continents. The only explanation is the Fellowship of the Ring. No supplies needed. He's basically saying, if you think back to that first movie, Matt, Frodo and Gimli or whatever, what was it, Legolas? Orlando was the Legolas event. They met in that little elven kingdom or whatever. They didn't take no supplies. They just, Ganji Sam or whatever, he packed these rice cake types things. It was elven magic. When you eat this little rice cake, it fills you up like you just ate 12 steaks or something. That's all they took. They didn't need no supplies. But you know what? As weird as this is, let's say he really believed this. Then you know what? I accept this because ultimately it's not examining the world under the microscope that it's real. It's not trying to get to the real answer. The reality tempts you with trying to find the real answer. Like, did it try to tempt us a little bit with Napoleon? Well, we could explain it, Matt, if we just put our heads together. We can figure it out. Nothing can be figured out. That's the point of the reality game and getting out of the bog and getting out of the weeds. If you put forth this person, if let's say the person believed it wasn't a joke and they believed every bit of it. Well, Matt, however, they did it in Fellowship of the Rings with a little dwarf Gimli or whatever. That's how Napoleon did it. Well, ultimately, okay. Well, at the end of the day, we'd say, well, then we kind of agree in general, fake world, right? And this person would say, yeah, we disagree in some areas, Matt, but in general, I'm with you. Fake world. And then we'd hug again. Monkey want a hug. We'd hug like brothers. You believe fake world, I believe fake world. You know what that means, first and foremost? You don't try to figure it out. You know, I have to get in the weeds a little bit to make the video. Do you understand that? People that said, Matt, I can't believe you think Napoleon's real. There's going to be 20 minutes where I'm talking about it as if it's real. Or there wouldn't be no video. I wouldn't have anything to talk about. Do you understand that? I can't say it any more clearly than that. Monkey want a hug. I will start to get in the weeds. Then what do? I try to bring us out. I try to bring the fifth grade truther to the graduate level. That's what my job is. It's a slow process sometimes. I don't believe Napoleon and everything in the Library of Congress is absolutely real. Are you new here or something? So I'm more with this person, whether it's a joke or not. However they did it in Fellowship of the Ring. They didn't pack nothing. Samwise Ganji packed some of those rice cakes. It's like eating a bunch of T-bone steaks. That's all they took. And the ring, what they should have done with it, forget Mount Doom. They should have gone into some Acme or some freaking, what is that? In Pittsburgh, they call it Giant Eagle or something, the damn grocery stores. Put that ring back in a plastic vending machine. There it would have stayed. Nobody's going to put a quarter in for some piece of plastic piece of shit. The freaking the ring of the one ring to control them all is in a plastic vending machine right now in the Giant Eagle right outside of Pittsburgh. That's what they should have done. I wouldn't get near Mount Doom. This ring, I ain't going to Mount. Screw this. Throw it in a damn vending machine where you get the sweet tarts and the plastic piece of shit rings. That would have ended the movie real quick. Thanks for listening.